Namaste. It's Iyara, Vedic astrologer, with my astro-evolutionary weather forecast for 2025. The year 2024 has been a year 8, which astrologically has been ruled by Rahu, the disruptive north node of the moon. And so it has brought many upheavals and challenges, as well as new experiences and new opportunities. But for most of us, it has been energetically quite exhausting. Now, at the end of the year, we probably know better where we stand and what we really want and don't want, even if things are not totally clear yet. It is important that we do not rely too much on the thinking mind. Rahu is the head of a dragon and therefore tends to overthink. Instead, we are called to energetically sense where our journey is going, because 2025 is a year 9 that is astrologically ruled by Ketu, the lunar south node, and the body of the very same dragon. Therefore, our instinct and intuition, our feelings, and being in touch with the voice of our soul will become increasingly important in 2025. 2025 will confront us with themes from our karmic past, for the reason that Ketu holds the subtle library of our life. That is all the knowledge about our past, present, and possible future. What does still define or inhibits us from growing towards our highest potential in this life? Ketu seeks moksha and therefore tries to let go of all beliefs, patterns, and tendencies that prevent us from self-realization, which is why we will have to face situations or decisions that derive from our past or past lives, or people reappear because we need to better understand ourselves. On the basis of which beliefs do we make decisions? What are the real motives behind our choices? It is important that we do not get further entangled in karma and neither lose ourselves in the necessary shadow work. As a matter of fact, traumatic events of our past and dark aspects of our personality do have a lot of weight in our individual vibration, precisely because they are heavy due to the low frequency. And this heaviness is for us as energetic beings like a kind of captivating pull that drags us down and keeps us stuck in the very matrix that we must overcome and see for what it is on our way of self or soul realization. Now, in these last days of 2024, change and the call for the new are clearly in the air, but we probably still don't know what it will look like concretely or how we can make it tangible, how we are going to get there. The planet that will open doors for us regarding change and soul growth is Venus, and I will explain why. First, it is interesting to see that at the winter solstice on December 21st, the moon was in the constellation of Purva Phalguni, ruled by Venus. And the very last new moon of the year, in the night from December 30th to December 31st, falls in the constellation of Purva Ashada, which is also ruled by Venus. Please note that we do follow the moon because the moon stands for our ever-evolving sense of self. Purva Phalguni, where the moon was at the time of the winter solstice, is the most inspired and the most creative place of the zodiac. Its enchantment reminds me of Krishna playing his flute, or of Mozart's opera, The Magic Flute, in which challenges must be overcome in order to prove that the quest for happiness or for the desired outcome are actually earned, meaning that the life that we desire must be coherently shaped by us. Creative power is contained in every word that we speak, in every action, in every feeling, and every thought. We shape our reality anew every day, in every moment. In Purva Ashada, where the moon shines at the end of the year and on New Year's Eve, is a place full of movement that tries to enliven and change us and our life. It is ruled by the water goddess Appas, and water flows constantly, cleanses us continuously, and opens new paths. Clearly, heavy, low frequencies and attachments need to be transmuted, and lighter, higher vibrating frequencies are looking for expression. Venus rules the water element in the cosmos and in our bodies. Water flows through who we are with all the information that it contains. It is extremely important that we drink only good, pure, perhaps heated or filtered water that can also be energized with gemstones or geometric symbols such as the flower of life. Change and creativity are obviously in the air, but there are also some blockages. At the winter solstice, Saturn stood in opposition to the moon and thus obstructed Purva Phalguni. Now, at the end of the year, the lunar nodes and the new moon in Purva Ashada are in a T-square. It means that there is some pressure from behalf of the universe and some resistance from our side to recognize and accept that we have the power and the responsibility to shape our lives creatively. We are not victims, nor just observers of reality. We do not only experience our lives, nothing happens to us, but we are the creative designers of our individual life and of our collective reality. There is an input, an effort required from our part. Venus has great influence here, and we will see that more clearly when Venus enters sidereal Pisces on January 27th, where the planet of love and pleasure will stay until June 1st. Venus is exalted in Pisces, meaning that she gives here the best results in her striving for fulfilling experiences, a fulfilling life, full of love, beauty, poetry and music, harmony and peace, because Venus in Pisces is capable of devotion. She actively gives herself to the frequencies that she is longing for. She contributes to the symphony that she longs to enjoy. And we are called to do the same. Where lies the difficulty? The problem is that Venus, when she enters sidereal Pisces at the end of January, she immediately collides with Rahu, the insatiable north node of the moon. both will be in conjunction until April 25th. And when Venus and Rahu are together, the longing grows bigger. Nevertheless, they don't know how to make their wishes come true because they or we have not learned yet how to do that. So we can easily fall into disappointment, dissatisfaction, and sadness because things and people are not how we desire them to be. We must be careful not to fall in the role of the victim, nor indulge in escape behaviors, because this only will delay the task that we must master. Love and relationships become a very important field of transformation for us in 2025. Love takes us out of fear and breaks us open, but only if we embrace our fragility, our vulnerability, and our softness, instead of putting on armor and sabotaging ourselves. We will see this self-sabotage more clearly when Saturn enters sidereal Pisces on March 29th, where he will remain until February 2028. Saturn entering Pisces is the first of 3 major transits in 2025. The second one is Jupiter moving from sidereal Taurus into sidereal Gemini on May 15th. And the third major transit are the lunar nodes, which will move into Aquarius and Leo on May 18th, where they will remain until the end of 2026. You see that these 3 major movements happen between March 29th and May 18th. And the period between mid-March and mid-May 2025 will probably be the most intense and challenging of the whole year. In the concrete, on March 14th, we have the first eclipse of 2025, a total lunar eclipse in sidereal Leo. And on March 29th, we will experience a very intense solar eclipse in sidereal Pisces, because 6 planets will cluster together in Pisces. And that probably announces something that will touch or hurt or shake us up a lot. Saturn, when he enters Pisces on the day of this very intense eclipse, immediately encounters Venus and Rahu. The conjunction between Saturn and Venus lasts until the end of April, and on April 13th, 14th, we will go through the exact conjunction between Saturn and Rahu, which only happens every 11 years. Rahu and Saturn together tend to bring some kind of suffering or stress, a challenge that can affect our health or some other area of our life. But it is important to know that the intention here is to make us stronger and wiser, more human, more gentle. And in Pisces, totally committed to designing the life and the world of our dreams instead of feeling cursed by fate. I believe that the lessons we go through in the first 5 months of 2025 will have a lot to do with overcoming our fears, our fear of death, as well as our fear of love. We are called to transmute resistance, limiting beliefs, and self-sabotaging behaviors that may be deeply unconscious. Pisces is really an important sign because since approximately the birth of Christ, we are in the astrological age of Pisces, which we will leave behind in about 400 years and enter the age of Aquarius, meaning that we are at the end of a cycle that has been going on for more than 2000 years. Wherefore, the main theme of Pisces needs to be integrated. Pisces aims for us to have the direct experience that we, like all other human beings, are drops and waves of the same ocean, that the light of consciousness is our true essence, and all of humanity our family. Realizing this truth automatically opens us up to deep love and deep compassion. Love is everywhere. We are love, and we have a deep longing for love, which is basically a longing for connectedness and all connectedness. Here on earth, we empower love through every kind word, every gentle smile and soft touch, through the warmth in our heart and all the soul connections we make and cultivate with different people. The experience of love and connectedness within one ocean of light consciousness also opens us to our unlimited potential as light beings. If we learn and devote ourselves to be constantly and consistently in a living exchange with the universe, in an ongoing conversation, an active giving and taking, it is about understanding ourselves as containers or carriers of cosmic powers that we for a long time have only seen as separate from us. Herein lies the challenge of Saturn's transit through Pisces. We must overcome the belief that we are at the mercy of powers that have no good intentions for us. Overcome the fear that there is somehow constant danger, like a fateful sword hovering over our head. Because this makes us live in fear, fear of death or finiteness, fear of what we could probably lose or perhaps must give up or sacrifice, fear that something is wrong with us or that we are not good enough, fear of being judged and punished. And so we judge and punish ourselves because we believe that it has to be that way, and that if we don't, a greater power will. We sabotage ourselves by keeping us small and keeping us in fear, hurting and limiting ourselves mercilessly. It is also good to understand clearly that Saturn in Pisces tends to isolate itself. Actually, because in Pisces our perception must become more subtle and we need to withdraw. Also for spiritual practices such as meditation or mindfulness. But this withdrawal can also make us feel lonely, sad, and often misunderstood. It is extremely important that we see very clearly what tendencies and dependencies need to be healed, and that we learn to cultivate emotional connections instead of withdrawing also emotionally. Saturn wants some detox from us so that we may come into and stay in alignment with higher frequencies of light and love, so that more and more of our light body can become activated. We should all look and see if and which planets we do have in sidereal Pisces. both in our natal chart as well as in the Navamsha chart. These planets and what they stand for are the most triggered. The most vulnerable is, of course, the moon. And the most change will come probably for Pisces ascendants, above all in the first 7 degrees of Pisces. Ascendants, moons, or other important planets such as Atmakaraka or rulers of the ascendant in sidereal Leo and sidereal Sagittarius will also experience a fair amount of upheaval and stress, because these two signs are respectively 8 and 4 signs away from Pisces. We must learn to let go of karmic patterns, and sometimes when we resist, life forces us to do so. After April 25th, which is just after Easter 2025, Venus will no longer be trapped between Rahu and Saturn. And that gives Venus's creativity and ability wings to create and savor beautiful experiences. Venus is the strongest of all planets in Pisces because she is exalted there. She holds the most power, and her signs, Taurus and Libra, do sit in our heart chakra. The heart chakras of all of us are connected to the heart chakra of the earth in Glastonbury in England. That is the mythical Avalon of many legends. And the Tor, the sacred hill of Avalon or Glastonbury, is connected to Venus, the sister planet of Earth. Venus, in turn, is connected to Andromeda, our sister galaxy, and the highest vibrating galaxy in our universe, with which our Milky Way will merge in many billions of years. Andromeda holds the higher heart chakra of the universe, the spiritual light of Christ consciousness. This connection between Andromeda, Venus, Glastonbury, and our heart chakra and higher heart chakra is highly charged in the first half of 2025, is strongly activated, whereby more true love, more compassion and peace can extend on earth. Our spiritual DNA is stimulated, and more healing can certainly take place. Our heart chakra radiates green and pink light, and the higher heart chakra pink golden light that melts into pure white light. We can feel or visualize these colors as we breathe in and out into our heart, filling ourselves with this higher love, so that we are able to feel unconditional soul love also for people with whom we have no affinity at all, but cherish their essence. It is also interesting to see that Venus is in Pisces in Jupiter's sign, while Jupiter dwells until May 15th in Taurus, that is in Venus's sign. This exchange of signs between two planets is known as a Parivartana Yoga that gives Venus even more strength and draws Jupiter into what is happening in Pisces. That has a very positive effect, with wise, benevolent Jupiter showing us the way. On May 15th, Jupiter will then move into sidereal Gemini, a sign that is opposite Jupiter's own sign of Sagittarius, and it squares Pisces. On one hand, this will encourage us to travel more or move to another country in order to gain experience in other cultures or with people from other cultures. On the other hand, our evolution and events here on Earth will speed up even more. And the square between Jupiter in Gemini and Saturn in Pisces will exert some pressure on us to really open up to more tolerance, compassion, and forgiveness. From May 18th on, Jupiter in sidereal Gemini will be in trine with Rahu, the lunar north node entering Aquarius, encouraging the development of non-hierarchical structures. We are called to learn from and share with each other. Smaller and with time larger groups of like-minded people will come together, exchanging and enriching each other. But we must, of course, get rid of our karmic tendency to project responsibility onto a father or mother figure. Such a father or mother figure, someone we have handed over power to, may show us his or her dark side, probably around July 22nd, when Mars and Ketu will be in conjunction. When Mars and the south node of the moon meet, violent events of our karmic past come back into our life, sometimes only in dreams or in our memory, but we will feel exposed to danger and must learn to guard and protect our being without cutting ourselves off from life. Ketu, the south node of the moon, transiting sidereal Leo for 1.5 years, will make us aware of our egoistic tendencies and attachments, even of the spiritual ego to which so many spiritual circles and teachers have fallen prey. Whoever builds his life on power over other people must fall, whether on the world stage or in the smaller circles of Sangha or family. And finally, from October 19th to December 6th, Jupiter will tip his toes into sidereal Cancer before he goes retrograde and back to sidereal Gemini, where he will stay until June 2026. But these 7 weeks in Cancer, the sign in which Jupiter is exalted and gives the best results in terms of wisdom, a big open heart, and deep natural compassion, will probably be the best and most fruitful time of the year 2025. We can already start visualizing these golden weeks between the end of October and the beginning of December, because it is becoming increasingly important that as many of us as possible hold and anchor positive visions here on Earth. I wish you all nourishing holidays and a happy new year. Namaste.